All right, we are all settled in down here. It's been a while since we've had a basement discussion. You can see the configuration has switched up a little bit. And unfortunately, in the past year and a half, Zach's gotten a girlfriend, so he's off to bigger and better things. It's the way high school goes, but Aiden and I are still here going strong, and we're looking to bring back this series. So our first question up is, what's the future of the Browns with the firing of John Dorsey and Freddie Kitchens? Aiden, where do you think the Browns are going as far as coaching goes and as far as this talent-filled roster that clearly underperformed this year?
Okay, so obviously the Browns didn't live up to all the expectations, and coming off a season where they won 7 games with Baker Mayfield as a rookie quarterback, people were expecting a little bit more than what they put out in the field this year. But I mean, you fast forward to now, it was a disappointing year. They fired, obviously, now Dorsey and Kitchens. And, I mean, I suppose that the Browns are looking towards Josh McDaniels as the next head coach, because there were a lot of rumors circulating that if they were to fire John Dorsey because they wanted McDaniels, and McDaniels had made it clear that he did not want to come to the Browns had Dorsey remained the general manager.
That's true.
So, going forward, I'm not sure what to expect if McDaniels becomes the next head coach. But, I mean, you see, he did well with the Patriots. Obviously, stacked team, Tom Brady and all his receivers, all that defense. They had Bill Belichick running the whole show. But, I mean, personally, as a Browns fan, I'm a bit biased, but I think there are better options than hiring Josh McDaniels and parting ways with both Kitchens and Dorsey. I think Dorsey did a damn good job, aside from hiring Freddie Kitchens, and I think that it may end up proving as a costly mistake. I think we should have kept Dorsey. How about you, Mason?
Well, I love John Dorsey, and I loved all the acquisitions he made, but the thing about John Dorsey was he looked for yes men as head coaches, and that's part of the reason that McDaniels didn't want to work with Dorsey was because Dorsey, he doesn't want someone that's going to push back a little bit, and McDaniels is the type of person that's going to push back and get what he wants. And we knew that we'd see a little bit of, we'd see some indiscrepancy with this lineup this year, having all these big personalities and these locker room problems going on. And you kind of expected that, and the Tennessee game was excused, opening day, first drive, they come out, score that touchdown, you're like, it's going to be a fun year. But ever since then, there's been a lot of issues, and you can't blame that all on Freddie Kitchens. I mean, you could have any coach in the league. It's really hard to pull these personalities together, especially with these huge expectations. So I don't think that all the blame should be resting on the back of Kitchens and Dorsey, and I don't think that Baker Mayfield is by any means a bad quarterback. I see all these memes going around about how Baker sucks, one-hit wonder. Sophomore slump's a thing for a reason, and Baker definitely had that a little bit, but our offensive line wasn't great, and as far as coaching hires goes, I mean, I don't want to go too far out there, but I think Urban Meyer would be the guy to do it. He's never done it at the NFL level, which is my biggest concern, but I want to get that out of the way immediately by saying that Urban Meyer is the type of guy that does not take shit from anyone. Urban Meyer can handle big personalities, he can handle hype, and he can handle the pressure. Urban Meyer is the type of person that we need at the helm of the Browns, and of course he's an Ohio guy, so you said you're a little bit biased for the Browns. I'm a little bit biased for Urban Meyer, and that's what I'm looking to see moving forward. And let's just jump right into the next question.
Wait, I have 2 things to say about that.
Go for it.
Okay, first of all, let's go back a little bit.
What do you want to go back to?
You said Freddie Kitchens, he struggled, but any head coach would.
Any head coach would.
Greg Williams essentially had the same squad when he took over.
He did not have Odell. He did not have the expectations. These expectations simmered over an offseason, and that's the thing. When you're tuning in to local networks and radio, all you hear is the hype for the Browns. And that's way different than having Hugh Jackson fired, and then you're kind of shocked, and you're suddenly the coach.
Forget all that. Yes, he had slightly worse pieces in the wide receiver core, losing or not acquiring Odell Beckham yet, but he had a better offensive line. The Browns hadn't made some of those trades that weakened that line. Overall, he had about the same team, and even if you say he had a slightly better team, which I don't believe is true, he took over for an 0-3 Hugh Jackson.
You think that the Browns last year were a better overall team than the Browns this year?
I think they're very comparable, and the fact that he took over 0-3 and still finished with a better record than Freddie Kitchens did this year, who was on the team last year as an offensive coordinator. He knew the players. He knew Baker's style. The fact that he couldn't do that just proves that he's not a great head coach. I think the best decision the Browns could have made was firing Freddie Kitchens. And, okay, moving on past that, because I know we're probably never going to agree on that.
Yeah,
but
absolutely not.
Urban Meyer. Yes, great Ohio State coach, legend there. Okay? But first of all, at Ohio State, things are a little bit different. He has all the talent in the world to compete with Clemson, LSU, Alabama, all those teams.
Browns have all the talent in the world. Have you seen their lineup? That's the reason they've had all the hype, is because of their talent.
Besides the point, I disagree with that. But college is a different game. And do you not remember that Urban Meyer retired from Ohio State because of alleged health issues, man? He was having headaches on the field. You see him, leaned over half the game.
Now, the current Browns team, I agree with that. They're going to be a big headache. That is going to be a major problem to deal with. But if Urban Meyer can get over that, he has what it takes to pull this team together if he's able to get over his health issues.
I believe he's a smart guy. But at the end of the day, Urban's a legend at Ohio State for a reason. He did great things there. Do you really want to put his health in danger trying to manage Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry on this Browns team?
I don't know if it's his health that you're putting in danger. I think it's his legacy. I mean, if Urban Meyer retires now as this Ohio State legend, and then he comes back, coaches the Browns screw up, he gets fired, that hurts his legacy. That's saying, this guy's a great college coach but couldn't do anything at the next level. I think it's his legacy on the line. Urban Meyer took the year off. He's reportedly been doing a little bit better with mental health and stuff. And yes, year after year of coaching college football gets you. And I think this year off, he's really been able to get back in touch with himself. And he's been able to get his mental health together. But I think really what it comes down to is legacy. And is he willing to risk his legacy on the Browns, who historically have screwed up some pretty significant legacies?
I mean, yeah, I can agree with that. I mean,
all
I
right.
think that's part of it.
I don't want to ramble on too far with this. You want to jump right into the next question?
Yeah.
All right, so going more on the football topic. Yep, I was just gonna say, what on earth happened with Ohio State and Clemson? Hey, you want to start this one off?
All right, so going into the game, you knew it was going to be a pretty close game. Both teams were undefeated, 13-0.
Yep.
So obviously one team had to lose, and I just don't think the best team won. Again, slightly biased. I'm an Ohio State fan.
Guilty as charged.
But regardless, yes, I think Clemson played a hell of a game. Okay, they played well. Trevor Lawrence played great. And I'm not saying they didn't deserve to win, but I don't think they should have won the way they did. I think there were two really bad calls in that game. The first being the targeting call. Come on, Sean Wade did not target on that play. And trust me, as an Ohio State fan,
that was a high hit. He was just making sure the sack was secured.
I'm more than willing to admit that Ohio State has engaged in some suspect targeting in bowl games. I remember Joey Bosa. That was targeting, okay? I was mad about it, but,
you can't deny it.
Yeah,
you can't deny it.
He lit the quarterback up. And second of all, on that, the call that was reversed, they called it not a fumble.
Yeah.
He caught it and took 3 steps. I know the defense says everything looks like a fumble in slow motion. But when you catch the ball and you take 3 steps, that's a completion.
That is a completion.
And when you knock the ball out at that point, it's not an incompletion.
And I think the catch rules, I don't want to get too far into this, but the catch rules really piss me off. You see plays all the time. Calvin Johnson catches. You see catches all the time in the NFL where guys will catch it and then they'll drop it immediately to celebrate. And they're like, oh, incomplete. So the catch rules, I think, really need to be sorted out. And that really pisses me off, regardless of the team. If the Browns are playing the Steelers makes a fair catch and they call that back. Of course, it'll be exciting in the moment, but we all know that it's bullshit and the catch rules need to be sorted out. But I just want to go into it and just say that I didn't buy into Trevor Lawrence. I mean, as a freshman, undefeated, national champion, and then this year, undefeated again. But to me, the entire season, LSU was up here, Ohio State was up here, and everyone else was down here. I don't care who else is undefeated. Ohio State and LSU were playing on a different field. Didn't even look like Ohio State was trying in the first half when they were losing to Wisconsin, and then they started trying and started to come back and won the game. And Ohio State's a great team, and I saw all the analysts predicted Clemson to win, actually, and they're all big Trevor Lawrence supporters, and I didn't buy into the hype initially, and once the game started and I saw Trevor Lawrence in full swing, that dude could check down. I mean, he's like a mini Drew Brees with the check down passes. He always finds the open man. He makes good, safe passes for the most part, and that's something that's really commendable for me, but I just really didn't buy into the hype, and I think that's part of the reason why I thought Ohio State would win by so much. But once I realized how good Trevor Lawrence was, I knew it was going to be a dogfight, and at that point, I wasn't too upset when I saw Ohio State lose. Yes, there were some BS calls. Yes, that last play was a heartbreaking way for Ohio State to lose, where I don't know if it was Fields' fault or the receiver's fault where he ran the wrong way, but that's a heartbreaking way to lose a bowl game because of a mental mistake, and it's not a physical mistake like you didn't catch the ball or something like that. It was a clear mental mistake. I mean, you train all season for that type of pressure and those types of moments. It's truly heartbreaking to be a fan, but I think that it was a very evenly matched game, and It's just the way the cookie crumbled. You want to go into our last question?
All right, so to finish this episode up, we want to discuss some recent Major League Baseball signings.
Absolutely.
Notably, Anthony Rendon going to the Angels and Garrett Cole signing with the Yankees. And I'm going to start by talking about Anthony Rendon. And I'm going to be honest, I'm a Nationals fan. It's a perfect fit for him, okay? Yes, as a Nationals fan, that side of me is mad at him for leaving. I mean, especially after winning the World Series. But look, he's a great player. In my opinion, the best defensive player in baseball, over Nolan Arenado, and when Manny Machado was the third baseman, him. But look,
You said best defensive player in baseball, not best third baseman. You just listed 3 third basemen.
they're the best defensive players in baseball. We can get into that another time.
Hot corner is a hard position to play, but you're disrespecting center field, catcher. I'm not going to get into it.
The
Keep
only
going.
one player I would consider putting at that level is Andrelton Simmons, and I'm not going to.
Okay.
Okay. So, beyond that, Rendon, if you're a Nationals fan, you already know that he's not the biggest fan in talking to the media.
That's true.
Yeah. But, look, he didn't want to be in the spotlight. And going to Los Angeles, he doesn't have to be. Mike Trout.
Going to Los Angeles, you don't have to be in the spotlight.
Going to the Los Angeles Angels, he doesn't have to be. Mike Trout is on the team. Shohei Ohtani on the team. Both command way more media attention. Have you ever heard of a national media story about Rendon before the World Series? No, he was the best player in baseball. He just doesn't give a shit. He doesn't talk to anyone. He's a great guy, though. He's a great player, though. He doesn't want the attention. And that's not his fault. That's not a problem. And over there, he doesn't have to be. Mike Trout's on their team. Shohei Ohtani, who commands a ton of media attention for a guy who missed a whole damn year. Okay? He doesn't have to be the center of attention. He can play his game, do well, have fun, enjoy himself, and still not be in that spotlight.
Well,
if he had signed with any major team, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Phillies, the Atlanta Braves,
You have to
he
think
would
about
have
the
been
market
in
he's
attention.
in. He's going to be in the spotlight if he's in that market regardless, and especially playing side by side with Ohtani and Trout, he's going to be partially in the spotlight. He doesn't have to take that in and be a big personality, but his moves are going to be ridiculed. Everything he does is going to be under the spotlight, and I think that that's just something that's going to really get to him, and it's going to be, how are you going to act under this pressure that you didn't really have to deal with in Washington until the World Series, really? He didn't have to deal with the pressure in Washington. You even admitted it yourself, and I kind of want to get into Garrett Cole a little bit.
Wait, forget about Garrett Cole. One more thing about Rendon.
Go for it, man.
Okay. You're saying he didn't have to deal with that pressure. I think the pressure of being, once Bryce Harper left, the face of the franchise was pretty big. Okay? Because once Harper left, all the Nats fans were rallying around Rendon. You better re-sign him. You better re-sign him. He's so good.
But you
He's
said
the
there are
best
no
player.
national stories.
No national stories.
Exactly. So it's not national attention. You're going to be getting national
Rendon
attention.
specifically. Of
In
course,
LA.
when, like, the free agency came near, there were some national stories, but not about his play during the season. He didn't make those headlights about comments, controversial stuff. I hate to reference Trey Turner, Sean Newcomb, Josh Hader. They all have some questionable histories. They made national stories over some suspect and racist stuff they said, which they shouldn't have. Okay? But regardless, in Los Angeles, if that team was going to be good, I'd buy that he'd be in the national media. But no, the Dodgers are the team of Los Angeles when it comes to winning. And even with Rendon and Trout and Ohtani, who are 3 great offensive players, that team's not going to win. They have no pitching. Okay, once they start winning, they might deal with some media. But again, I don't think Rendon's going to have that big an issue because he's still not the main guy. They're going to be talking to Mike Trout. Mike Trout, you're finally in the playoffs. Tell us about the long journey you've had here. They're not going to care about Rendon. He won a World Series. They're done with him. And last thing I'm going to say about him is there was one article I read. I do not remember the source. I apologize for that. But he said one reason why he wanted to go to Orange County in Anaheim with the Angels is because he felt more comfortable politically there.
I heard that, yeah.
Because he's from Texas, obviously. And he said that, I don't remember the exact quote, but essentially he implied that you can guess which way I lean politically. And at the end of the day, it's free agency for a reason. Players have a right to choose where they go. And if Rendon can go to a place where he's happy and he gets paid what he's worth, he got a hell of a lot of money with the Angels, and he can still not be the center of attention, that's just good for him. I mean, I'm happy for him. Again, as a Nationals fan, it breaks my heart that he's not going to be lining up next to Trey Turner next year. But you know what? Good for him. He got what he deserved, and he's going to be a hell of a player. And you want to talk about Garrett Cole now?
All right, I mean, I tried to push back there for a second, but I don't know how many people watch Aiden and I arguing in his basement at, we're making this at 2 in the morning, just hanging out. I don't know how many of you guys watch this, and I don't know how well you know us, but Aiden's Instagram coming through middle school was MLB forever, Nats for life. Or what was it? Nats for life, MLB forever. Something like that. Aiden is a diehard Nationals fan, and the second I pushed back at him, I realized he's going to defend Rendon till the death. I mean, that man could murder someone, and Aiden's going to defend him. So I guess I throw in the white towel for coming at Rendon for his decision and being under the spotlight and it being 50-50. I give up because there is no point in arguing with this man about any former longtime Nationals player. So I'm not even going to touch that issue with a 10-stick pole anymore. But Garrett Cole, I'm going to keep it brief for you so you don't hear us ramble on. Yankees, we know they have the great bats. CC Sabathia, though, is getting up in age. Tanaka's, he had a great season.
Ticking time bomb.
He had a great season this year, but
elbow's a ticking time bomb.
I don't know how, I was about to say, I don't know how long he's going to be good for, and I don't know how long he's going to last for. But I think with the addition of someone like Garrett Cole, Aiden said he's a one-year wonder. I don't know how true that is, but Garrett Cole is someone that you definitely don't want to see in the lineup card, and you're going against the team, regardless of whether he's a one-year wonder or not. He's somebody you don't want to see in a lineup card pitching against you, and that's definitely going to help the Yankees. I don't think it's going to set them apart enough to be a World Series champion, but I think that acquisition, they're moving in the right place, they're getting their pitching down, and it's definitely making me excited to watch a little bit of Yankees baseball this year and maybe make the AL a little bit exciting. I think that's about all we have.
Wait.
If you want to go into Garrett Cole a little bit, go for it.
When I said he's a one-year wonder, I didn't mean that he's not good. Look,
he was great for a year is what you mean.
He was great for 1 year in Houston, and he was pretty good for his first year in Houston. But for most of his career, he's been a good pitcher. And he will undoubtedly help the Yankees talent-wise. The issue I have with the signing is you're giving him 9 years for a guy who's already getting up there in age. Obviously, he's not old, but he's going to be like upper 30s when his contract expires. And second of all, the amount of money you're giving him, is it really worth the kind of pitcher that you're probably going to get? Remember, he's moving from Houston, which is a relatively pitcher-friendly park, to New York Yankees in New York. That's not pitcher-friendly, okay?
But you have to remember, when you have pockets as deep as the Yankees organization, you don't really have to worry about this kind of stuff. Smaller market teams like Cleveland, if they give Lindor a big contract after this year because he's a free agent, that's going to be a big deal. I mean, Indians are going to be like, oh, who do we sign? How do we finagle our money? What do we do with it? Yankees, their pockets are so deep that it's like, whatever. Spend your money how you want. Whatever players they could get. And
I agree. That's one defense I have for the Yankees myself. I believe that they wanted to land Garrett Cole. They wanted to have Cole on that team, and they have a lot more money than a lot of teams. And in order to land Garrett Cole, they had to offer that kind of contract.
And that's a separate issue as is. I mean, different teams having different amounts of money. We're not going to get into all this right now, but keep going.
Yeah, so, I see why they signed him. In my opinion, I think they will end up regretting it 6-7 years from now when they're paying him upwards of $30 million a year to watch him pitch to a 5 ERA and lose 20 games a year. But if they are able to win a couple World Series before that, most fans probably won't blame them for it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. All right, I guess we're going to wrap things up. It's good to be back here with you guys. Good to be back here in the basement, chatting some sports with Aiden. Hopefully this quality is a little bit better. I know the first few we had those computers that we just used for looks that were off the entire time. But, we still don't have some insane set, but I hope this is a little bit more uncut and a better conversation for you guys to listen to. And, enjoy 2020. It's a new decade, and we're out of here.